What we're going to be talking about in today's session is going to be the IO forecast and the pending sales report. I'm going to just really quickly as well, since we're talking about forecasting and stuff, I'm going to really quickly just touch on the hot list as well, just in case you are interested in that as well. That'll be just 30 seconds or whatever. Just a real quick overview on that, just so you're aware of that. And then how we kind of developed from the hot list into the pending sales report. Kind of a nice little segue. Just so you know, what the hot list is designed to be, instead of an Excel spreadsheet, something that's in Launchpad, linked to the account records, reportable, so that a salesperson can create a list, keep it in Launchpad, and say, okay, these are the people that I think I might sell. And the way that you add a client to the hot list is via the account records. So I'm just going to go to Smoke and Joe's barbecue here. And if I say, hey, this is an account that I feel is hot, and what defines hot is really up to you guys as an organization. We say, hey, I think these guys are hot. Then I would just click on this link up here, which is add to hot list. And then it then brings up the account name. I can then select the publication that I think they're hot for. And then I have some other fields here that I can kind of use as required. Account type would be, whether it was a loss or new or a renewal. So let's say I'm stealing them from the competitor. The close date, I've seen companies use the close date different ways. Either they use the issue close date that we're first forecasting that Smoke and Joe's is going to get into, or they use the actual date. Hey, this is the date I'm expecting to get the order. So it can kind of be handled, two different ways depending on what your business requirements are. I can put in the number of insertions. I can put in what my, forecasted contract value is. If you want to put in, the size of the ad that's going to be sold. If there's any kind of particular program that you might be using, if it's some kind of frequency program or something like that you're using, you can select that there. And then you can also put in the probability. So let's say I think they're going to be 75% shot. And I also can put in some notes if I want to, and then I click on add to hot list. And now that company's been added to my hot list. You can see I have a bunch of companies here on my hot list, different publications, close dates. So obviously I've been pretty select with my hot list. You can see I've got all these things I'm expecting to close back in 2007. So if I was supervising me, I would probably be smacking myself around a little bit and saying, hey, listen, you need to update your hot list. Having something on the hot list from 6 years ago is probably not that appropriate. So you get the idea. And revenue, all that kind of thing. There's also a way that you can add something to the calendar right from the hot list. And if a client is no longer on the hot list, I can always delete it just by hitting this link, and it removes them from the hot list. So it's a pretty straightforward, simple little tool. There is a report on the Reports tab, Sales tab, that you can use from a management perspective to look at, what's going on with the team. And you can sort of see, who's on the hot list, what percentages, that kind of thing. So it is reportable as well for management. So that can be a handy quick little tool. But there are some limitations to the hot list, and so that's why we developed the IO forecast. It can be done as soon as an IO. If I created a new IO, just built a new IO from scratch, as soon as I get to the end, this is like the last step. You go through all the 6 steps of the IO building process, go through past comments, you click, and it brings you to this view, just like we have here, where it's showing you a pending IO, where you can then go in and do the printable IO and print it out and get all that stuff that you normally do. As soon as the IO is completed, it's a training issue. All you need to do is go on here, click on Change Forecast, update percentage, give it a close date, and save. Now this particular one has got is linked to an opportunity. Now opportunity is another tool, another different training day, but that allows you then to put that forecast in there. So that can be done anytime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the pending sales report, which is where we're going to end up. I'm going to open up an IO. So this is the pending sales report. And what I can then do is I can designate, okay, well, which media do I want to look at? Now, I do have it here. I can look at the forecast probability. So if I said I only want to look at IOs that are 50% or higher, 75% or higher, 95, like I said, if we come on here 10 seconds ago, it would have said 90%. It's just because I just changed that from 90 to 95. So whatever. So I can pick what I want, or if I want to look at them all, I just leave that blank. I pick the media group. Now, most of you are probably only running one media group for your system. We have a couple of our large clients are using multimedia groups, but most of you probably just have one media group. And then the same thing, you have your opportunity to check your media types. So if you're wanting to look at all of them, you can, or just a particular type. And then you can even drill it down to a specific media title. So that's what I'm going to do in this case, and I hit next. From here now, I have two options. If I want to just look at a particular issue date, I can click on the link and hit next, and it will just show me August issue date. If I want to look at it over a date range, let's say I want to look at everything from July 13 through December 13, I use option 1 up there. So that would be kind of the same as just checking a bunch of boxes. So it just makes it a little bit easier. So that's what I'm going to do, and I hit next. Now I've got the range. There we go. So now you can see this is a summary report. Shows me all of the issue dates over that date range from July 1st through December 1st. And what this is showing me then are the sold, so the IOs that have the status of sold, they've been customer accepted already in Launchpad, as well as all of the pending orders. So what we're forecasting is possibilities for those issue dates as well, and then a total. So this is obviously adding, the total is the pending plus the sold, as though 100% of the pending was going to come in. Now, if you want to see more detail, all you got to do then is click on the link for that issue date, and this is where you can start to see, okay, well, what's really happening with my July issue. So what I've got here is a lot of information here. What I've got up at the top are all of the pending orders. So these are the insertion orders broken out by rep that have a pending status, that have not been yet customer accepted, but the sales rep, in this case George Sparkman, has said that they are, he has scheduled it for that July issue date. Okay, so these are the issues, the people that he's got forecasted, or that he's thinking he's built the IO, given it a forecast number, and is hoping that they're going to come in for the July issue. So that's all the pending statuses are at the top, and then below we have all the sold insertions. So it's going to give you a total for both. Okay. So that's so you can see what have I got and what might I get is the intent. Now, I was mentioning earlier the different percentages, the 75s and 50s and what have you. So that's where that starts to show up here in this column. So I've got, for example, a deal here for Stone Creek Winery, and we are looking at selling them, it looks like to be the front cover, inside front cover, for $3,000. And so George has given that a 75% probability. So the system has factored that down to be $2,250. Now we all understand that you don't get $2,250 if either they buy it and you get the whole $3,000, or you get zero, right? But it's just the idea of it is trying to looking at the averages. You say, well, if we're forecasting effectively, then we should be able to get something close. Some of these are going to come in, some of them are not going to come in. Now, the one I wanted to point out to you here is this one here for American Airlines. It has not got a forecast. It shows zero probability, or not zero, it just shows a blank. So that's why it forecasted at zero, because the system doesn't have a multiplier to factor that in. So that's why it's showing zero. So if you're going to use this report with your team, it's really important for them to put in the probability numbers. So to do that, let me show you how that's done. I'm going to go to that particular IO. So keep it up to date. So it's just a way for you as an individual sales rep to kind of keep, in the top of your mind, fresh up, what's going on, who am I working on, who have I pitched, who have I not pitched, what percentages do I feel, or from a management perspective, you can kind of see, hey, what's going on, supervising the team and saying, hey, what do you think you got coming in? Keep that up to date. You forecast something for June. It's not June anymore. What's the deal? So it's just a way to kind of keep on top of those orders. So that is the pending sales report.